We're A-Game, a 100% Black-owned company with an all-natural product and world-class customer service. We're headquartered in California, and we manufacture, package, and ship right here in the United States. We ship to more than 125 distributors worldwide. Normal processing is 2 to 3 days, and we employ virtual tracking until our product is received. So, no matter where you are in the world, here we come, and we're bringing your A-game.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey, how you doing, everybody? Sorry for the confusion. I know you guys were waiting on the other live stream that I had planned for today, but when this dropped, I had to switch it so we could talk about this case. We're going to talk about this case, and this is fresh news. This is just in. They just dropped the verdict in the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case. And I know some people were of the opinion when I tried to cover it before, they was like, I'm not keeping up with it. Them palm-colored problems. Palm-colored problems. Not really. 1 second. Had to fix something. Okay. So everybody was saying, them palm-colored problems. We not worried about palm-colored problems. But it's not palm-colored problems. Just because it was Amber and Johnny and they happen to be in Hollywood, doesn't the nature of the case, what was really being talked about, was a concern for the gynocracy and for men. Every man, including black men. Because the advent of feminism and all of its forms and iterations have been black men's problem. The stuff that black women get from palm-colored women has been black men's problems. Feminism was capable of doing what chattel slavery could not do. It's black people problem. The gynocracy has been black people problem. So just because it happens to be two non-black people in a dispute, this dispute wasn't about movie roles. If this case was about movie roles, then I could see everybody's point. Why would we waste time on the Crimson Cure channel talking about what two people in Hollywood are disputing over movie roles? But no, this was a dispute about the gynocracy, how it views women, how it views men in DV cases. To not draw out the suspense, in case you do not know, the jury came back with a verdict in favor of Johnny Depp, awarding him $15 million because Amber Heard broke and she ain't got 50 mil. She ain't got 50 M's in the bank. Okay? She barely scraping by. They was living off of Johnny. You understand that, huh? Her sister was living in them penthouses. Boy, they ain't got no money. If you don't knock it off, she ain't got no money. Amber Heard broke. That hurt her too bad. Not getting on Aquaman 2 should have saved your money. If you had to put all the energy in your finances that you put in trying to beat on Johnny Depp, you'd have had 50 M's. Boop, boop, boop. So I'm going to go ahead and read the article that just dropped, and then I'm going to read her tweet, because she had a gynocratic tweet. She tripled down on the foolishness. But we're going to really actually get into what she's saying. So let me read the article. Okay. All right. Johnny Depp wins $15 million in defamation case against Amber. Okay. Johnny Depp has been awarded $15 million in his defamation case against ex-wife Amber Heard. The jury's verdict, which found both parties liable, was reached Wednesday in a Virginia court after the panel spent 3 days deliberating over 6 weeks of grueling, emotional, and highly contradictory testimony in a case focused on a Washington Post op-ed written by Heard. Depp was awarded $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive damages, while the jury awarded Heard $2 million in compensatory damages and nothing in punitive damages. Depp had sought $50 million in damages with Heard countersuing for $100 million. So that shows you how petty she was. Heard was present in the courtroom for the verdict while Depp watched on TV from the UK, because if you didn't know, Johnny was like, listen, I'm about to get this pressure off of me real quick. He went over to, he watched on TV from the UK where he had traveled after testimony ended Friday to perform with legendary rocker Jeff Beck for a show in Sheffield and 2 at Royal Albert Hall in London. Johnny was like, listen, that was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of me being vulnerable, not only to specific people, but to the world, to share something that is typically very embarrassing for men. To have to get up on the stand and basically have my masculinity challenged for 6 weeks straight, day after day, and people examine it and judge it. Listen, I'm about to let my hair down. I'm about to go and do one of the things I love, which is make music. Amber Heard watched with little emotional response, solemnly looking down throughout the judge's reading of the verdict. Okay? I'm going to read her tweet because it's only got a part of it. So I'm going to read her tweet later. And it said, meanwhile, Depp lauded the verdict in a statement saying best is yet to come and a new chapter has finally begun. He was doing what Smeagol's free. Like he free. Okay, he free. Okay. Also said false, very serious and criminal allegations were levied at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content, although no charges were ever brought against me, Depp said. It had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and career. And 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back. I am truly humble. I'm really actually happy for him for several reasons. Let me finish out. Said, a formal oversight from the jury delayed Wednesday's announcement for nearly 20 minutes. With the panel reseated in the courtroom and millions watching from TV feeds, expecting a verdict, the judge sent the jurors back to the jury room, telling them to fill out a compensatory damages form with the amount of at least $1. Depp sued Heard for 3 counts of defamation, claiming that her 2018 Washington Post op-ed, in which she identified as a victim of DV, trashed his career. He says that the abuse victim in the fiery relationship He said he was the abuse victim in their fiery relationship and sought $50 million, though he testified that the purpose of the case is to repair his legacy for his children and restore his reputation in the entertainment industry. Heard countersued for $100 million based on claims that Depp's lawyer Adam Waldman defamed her when he spoke to British newspapers during the UK version of the case, which Depp lost. Waldman repeatedly said in the press that Heard's story was a hoax perpetrated by a scorned ex bent on destroying Depp's life. It was facts, though. Of the many witnesses called by both teams, only one, Heard's sister Whitney, testified that she actually saw Depp strike Heard. But whether Depp ever abused her was only one of the many complex interlocking determinations that the jury had to make. Since Heard's op-ed didn't call Depp by name, jurors also had to decide whether he was the intended target, whether Heard acted with actual malice, and whether she was even responsible for the article's content since it was written in conjunction with the ACLU. Heard's team pointed out none of this mattered if they believed Depp abused Heard even once. Okay? And this is almost done. The nitty-gritty legal details behind those defamation claims were the crux of a case that was otherwise highlighted by harrowing testimony from Heard, who described nightmarish encounters with a blacked out Depp in 2014 and 2015. Over multiple days of testimony, Heard described in grim detail how she was punched, kicked, pulled by the hair, and sexually assaulted with a glass liquor bottle. Depp has denied having ever hit Heard or any woman in his life and maintains that Heard was the abuser, not just physically but emotionally. She admitted having hit Johnny, and the jury heard on audio recordings cruelly berating and belittling him. His legal team blasted away at Heard's testimony and photographic evidence, grilling her about the day she filed a restraining order in LA, where she was photographed with face bruises. They suggested Heard had tipped off the waiting paparazzi, which she denied, and suggested that she trashed her apartment to give the appearance of a fight aftermath before calling the police. Team Depp painted Heard's testimony, photographs, and actions as a staged, calculated conspiratorial ploy to get back at Depp after the marriage that was, by anyone's account, volatile. Both sides have widely different accounts of how the actor severed his fingertip, who left a fecal surprise, y'all heard about that, in the bed, and just about every other behind closed doors matter described on the stand. So I am going to come back to you guys for a second. Okay? Now I'm going to read her tweet. Okay? Listen, before I get to her tweet, ain't no way in the world. See, I followed the case. Shout out to the lead attorney, because I followed the case on his channel, and I followed the case on another channel that was just filming it. And I heard her testimony. Ain't no way in the world you gonna sit there and tell me that a grown man with rings on was so many times that you forgot how many times he struck you, but you ain't had no bruises on your face. That right there, a dude can, no rings. He don't have to be a big dude. Listen, let me tell y'all something. The men know. I'm going to tell the women in case the women don't know. It don't matter if he a big dude. It don't matter if he a short dude. Because it be them short ones that be strong. Okay? I done met many a short little guys. Don't got a lot of stature, not even 6 feet. No, you don't want him to get a hold of you because you're not getting the loose. Period, point blank. And this would be in playtime. They playing around, hey girl, blah, 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 grab you. You can't get it loose. He got to let you go. You can play him to the left because he's 5'7" if you want to. But even that guy, big guy, small guy, because Johnny Depp not no big old tall guy. He a regular guy. Little bit on the short side. Even him, rings or no rings, if he rear back, just draw back and just with a closed fist, You will be hamburger meat after about that third or fourth pop. Your face is about to be hamburger meat. Period. There is not going to be any makeup that's going to get that swelling down, that's going to open that eye that done got shut closed. Ain't no way. He done beat you all them many times and you ain't never went to the hospital. She claimed that he raped her with a bottle, a big old one of them big old liquor bottles. You claiming you got raped by one of them bottles to the point where you was bleeding from your vagina and you ain't go to the hospital? Just the thought of that make me want to sit in an ER room. Just check it, y'all. Well, did anything happen to you, Miss Cure? No, I heard the Amber Heard testimony and I just need y'all to check. Just check for me. Because you will be the lesions alone, you're not going to be able to go take no shower and then go to sleep like that didn't happen. You got to have some medical attention for that. You got to have medical attention for that because the abrasions, the lacerations, all of that, there ain't going to be no way you going to walk properly and be able to function normally with that kind of pain. Just like every man can imagine, even if it ain't never happened to him, getting kicked in the cojones. Yeah. That's not going to, we're not even designed like that. There can be no that type of penetration to us, unwilling, and by force, by some foreign force, that's not going to leave the abrasion behind. And not gonna leave us in a situation where I gotta go to the hospital. I gotta go to the hospital. Somebody gotta look at me. Y'all gotta fix it. So it was them two things for me. It was them two lies for me. Ain't no way in the world you not hamburger meat after a grown man. You don't even want a big teenage boy doing it. No. Women cannot take that. On a physical level, we can't take that. And there's not going to be me in an instance with a grown man and he's skibbity papping me up, okay? And I ain't got no bruises. There's no telltale on my face and body where this dude papped me up pretty good, y'all. Ain't gonna be no pair of sunglasses gonna hide that. Cause the way she described that, he beat her like she was a dude in the street and he didn't know him. Or like the old folks used to say, whoop you like you stole something. You're not going to no Met galas the night after a grown man. You're not going nowhere. If you don't want nobody to see all that, and it take weeks for them bruises to clear up to a point where you can put some foundation on it and don't nobody see it. You got to wait till that swelling come down. You're going to have to wait till that eye open up. The only person that ever went to seek medical attention out of anything was Johnny. He was the one that was showing up in pictures bruised out. He was the one that had to go to the hospital to get his finger put back on because she severed it. So you're not going to be able to tell me that he wasn't getting abused. They tried to make it seem like the things that he was saying to her was him being aggressive. That was a retaliation. That was retaliation because you do all this stuff to me. Yeah, I'm going to have a real flip mouth with you. I'm not going to be careful with you. I'm going to talk crap to you. I'm going to say all kind of stuff to you. And the reason I'm saying that stuff is because I done spent 2 hours with you berating me and belittling me and saying whatever to me. So how I'm supposed to deal with that? Somebody just supposed to take your verbal, your physical, your emotional abuse and not say nothing? I'm not going to say nothing back. I'm not going to say nothing? No. I'm going to tell you what made me understand that Johnny wasn't hitting on her. I didn't believe her to begin with. But the thing that made me understand that Johnny wasn't hitting on her, and I'm going to get to her tweet, because we're going to cook the Gynocracy, because she really tried it. It was a lot of triarization in her tweet. But anyway, oh yeah, that baby is going to be messed up because it's got a mama like her, because she a narc. She's a textbook narcissist. But the thing that really made me understand that Johnny wasn't hitting on her is his recounting of how he coped with abuse when he was little. See, when you have childhood trauma and it includes physical abuse and stuff like that, and whatever that response is that you use then, that's your coping mechanism for it. If you encounter that abuse again, you're going to go back to that coping mechanism because that's the trained response. That's the response. He did 2 things that he resorted to as a result of abuse. He did 2 things. He went back to drugs and alcohol, which was something that he said he did when he was young to escape mentally the abuse he was going through. And he learned how to be quiet and walk away. Those were 2 coping mechanisms. And he did that a lot during the relationship between him and Amber. Kept going back to drinking, kept going back to drugs to cope, and kept evading her. I went to 2 bedrooms. I went to 5 bedrooms. You follow me. I followed you because he's walking away. He's trying to de-escalate without confrontation. He's trying to let it be like, you know what? If I don't engage, we can't do it. If I don't argue, we can't argue. If I don't fight, we can't fight. So therefore, this is how I'm going to cope with the abuse. I'm going to go back to how I coped with it the first time in my life. And that was evading and drugs and alcohol. Unfortunately, she was extra mad with Kate Moss. I'm going to get to her because I'm going to get to it. Her little tweet, because she doubled down on stupid stuff. Kate Moss blew it up because for those of you who don't know, which I found out, Kate Moss, Johnny used to date Kate. Okay? And there was some type of rumor supposedly that was going on that Kate Moss fell down the stairs and hurt her back, and supposedly Johnny Depp did that. Kate got on the stand and was like, I have never testified for any reason in anybody's courtroom. But today I'm coming out for Johnny. Let's put that baby to bed. Johnny has never abused me, ever. He didn't push me down those stairs. I fell down the stairs. I hurt my back. He came back to help me and give me some medical attention and stuff like that. Get me somewhere where I can get some medical attention. He never hit me. That man never hit me. That man never raised his hand to me. He never did. And they couldn't say it was bias Because what did she have no dog in that fight? Nobody came out for Amber Heard but her little long-faced sister. And you know her sister gonna ride with her. Nobody else was riding for Amber because Amber is a narc with everybody. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read her tweet. I'm gonna go to a commercial break and we're gonna cook the Gynocracy. Because what I'm gonna do is tell everybody why this isn't just a Amber Heard, Johnny Depp sensational Hollywood case. So let me go ahead, let me share my screen once again and read her little tweet that she tweeted today after the verdict. She said, "The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband." So now she trying to make it about, she gonna make it about men and women. Anyway, let me keep going. "I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women." It don't mean nothing for other women, Amber, because you was lying, baby girl. Boop, boop. You was lying. Boop, lying. Anyway, it is a setback for you. It sets you back about 15 M's that you don't have. It is a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. I believe Johnny's attorney succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignore evidence that was so conclusive that we won in the UK. I'm sad I lost this case, but I am sadder still that I seem to have lost a right I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly. And if somebody do not play the world's smallest violin for this long-faced heifer here, thank you, Miss Alto. She probably would be persona non grata in Hollywood. Yes, her career is gone. It wasn't even there to begin with. It was barely there. I wanted to read that tweet. I'm probably going to go back to the tweet because she said a lot in that tweet. But what we're going to do is hit a commercial break, and then we're going to break down the Gynocracy and what this really says. Be right back.
Hey guys, this is Spanky Hayes, and I want to say something, whether it's comedy, acting, or just in general real life. I use my A game. I gotta have the A game. I pack it in every pocket. I got one pill in every pocket and every pair of pants I got. Listen, entertaining y'all is hard sometimes. I gotta fly to Dallas, then to Denver, then to New York, then to LA, then to Detroit. Come on, man. That tires me out. I just take the A game now. I don't have that problem no more. I usually barely don't sleep because I'm entertaining y'all. I'm in the studio all night with the A game. And trust me, when I come home from the studio, my woman gets to feel the real pleasure of the A game. You see, I'm smiling. Watch this. Hey, baby.
Hey, babe.
Guess what I just took? A game, A game, A game, A game. I'm gonna meet you upstairs, all right?
Oh, okay.
Threw it down with a quickness. Threw that broom down like, listen, this dirt not about to go nowhere. But I know where I'm about to go. Give me some A game, A game. Y'all silly. Where would I be without you? Cause every thug needs a lady. Yeah, yeah. Where would I be without you? So what you're saying is true. Need you to hold me. I will, I will, I will. Thank you, Charlie. Okay. We're going to go back to this tweet because all jokes aside, all roasting aside, this case was very important for men in this country. See, what's getting ready to happen is this is taking place right now. We just saw a man win a domestic violence case framed as a defamation case. We just watched a man, a jury of their peers reached a verdict in favor of a man who said he had been getting abused in his relationship. That's a win in the environment. That was a legal win. He won a case. Okay? That's an environmental issue right there, which addressed a biological issue. Because that's biological. Getting hit and hitting. But it also addressed a cultural issue that only men could be the abuser. Regardless of really because of feminism and the gynocracy, it has been viewed even more so that only men can be the perpetrators of violence, really in any situation. That Amber had to be telling the truth because she was a woman. Johnny had to be guilty because he was a man. And it proved out that that's what culturally we believe, because as soon as Amber said that in 2018, Johnny lost all his money. No one was calling him for movies anymore. He lost his role as Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, which is where this defamation suit came from. So automatically it was believe all women. We live in an era where that said, believe all women. Because she's a woman and she said so. That's what feminism has gotten us to. That's where the gynocracy has gotten us. It's not even always because I'm white and I said so. It's because I'm a woman and I said so. I'm a woman, so I said that a man was guilty of doing something to me. This is the same thing with Meg Thee Stallion. She pulled the same thing on Tory Lanez. He shot me. He did this, he did that. Tory like, I ain't do nothing. Nobody believed him. Nobody wanted to do music with Tory Lanez no more because they was friends with Meg the male horse and they didn't want to offend it. So therefore they didn't want to work with Tory Lanez. He ended up having to release his album, I think as an NFT or something like that, to make money. Thank you, Mac Million. Said, what's up, sis? Just showing some support from New York. Love what you're doing. Thank you so much. And it was believe all women with Meg. I'm a woman and I say so. He did something to me, so y'all gotta believe it. It's a social faux pas to even ask her the details about an incident where she's claiming some man shot her. Amber Heard is on Twitter talking about some freedom of speech. She wants the freedom to be able to slander and defame anybody. Gaslighting. Now she's gaslighting the whole public about what that case was about. And in the case with Meg Thee Stallion, with Tory Lanez, didn't he have like a gag order or something where he couldn't even speak out and share his side of anything that went on? Meanwhile, she was doing interviews with Gayle King. So this is a gynocratic issue that involves black men, because black men have been the victims of this stuff. And we can no longer, it's not good enough to say, well, men should have picked better. Or, you know, you should have did this, or you should have did that, or you should have been quiet. Johnny was trying to be quiet. He didn't bring up this defamation suit until she started doubling down on stupid stuff. And 6 years in the making, his whole career and life is trash. Meanwhile, she gets to parade around and live her life like she ain't do nothing. So this, him filing the defamation case in the first place, put it in the spotlight. Yes, I'm a man that got abused, and I'm not trying to hear about how my masculinity ain't up to snuff. Because saying that, here's the danger in talking about this. Here's the danger in saying, well, he should have known this, or he should have did that, or he should have, you know, whatever. He should have known, yada, yada, yada. Because we don't tell women that. If it really had been the case that Johnny beat Amber the way she said he did, thank you, Frederick said fear, fake evidence appearing real. Thank you. If this had actually been Amber being abused the way she described, we would be saying Johnny was a monster for that. That it didn't matter, you know what I'm saying, that she married him anyway. He could have been doing the whole honeymoon phase that abusers do to get you roped in emotionally where it's difficult for you to opt out. And then this is where the abuse starts. And then he just started beating on her. And then this, that, and the third. We would be saying he's a monster for this. And we would be right to say that. But when it get flipped around to the men, we always minimize the hurt and the pain and the repercussions that it has on men when they go through domestic violence and they are the victims of it. Even those who believe Johnny and was like, yeah, I don't believe he beat her, will still come behind it and talk about how soft Johnny is. Will still come behind it and question his masculinity. Will still come behind it and be like, yeah, Johnny, what's going on with you? They'll still do that. He should have been man enough to do this, that, and a third. As if men are not human beings and the psychological abuse that go along with the physical abuse don't have no sway on him. Because when somebody is abusive, they are not just physically abusive. There is a psychological abuse that must take place in order for somebody to withstand the physical abuse and not snap or leave immediately. And black people above all, we should understand that, because slavery happened because of psychological abuse. We stayed on the plantation not because we were physically overwhelmed, but because we were psychologically overwhelmed. Thank you, 39 Dina. I need that to sink in for a minute. Chattel slavery survived as long as it did, not because black people were physically overwhelmed. We were not. We were psychologically overwhelmed. It was the psychological abuse that had us truly shackled, because we still ain't broke that. It's a lot of us still ain't broke that one. Still running around here under the American nightmare thinking it's all sweet. Still running around here under the lost value system thinking it's sweet. We still here. So we know that psychological abuse is real. And it has a devastating and long-lasting consequence behind it. So that's one thing that we need to do, is not minimize it when men go through it. Oh man, just suck it up. No, don't suck it up. No, don't suck it up. The Gynocracy want to feminize men and want y'all to get in touch with y'all feelings. I sure would then. All my feelings was hurt when she was doing that stuff to me. All my feelings. I'm glad at the way that Johnny described everything that was going on, how he was on the stand, that level of vulnerability. Because it actually took him to expose his belly that way in order to get this environmental legal win that's not just a win for him. This is going to start, hopefully, a domino effect where the Gynocracy gets to be questioned and put on trial and then dismissed. Thank you, Jehovah. Said, will judges stop entering in false arrest orders in family court, or are the processing fees too much for blue states to demolish? Speak on it. Thank you, Miss Selma. Said, thanks so much for being a voice of reason and wisdom. Thank you, sweetheart. See, these are the things that we have to consider. It's not just a Hollywood case. If they was arguing about movies, I wouldn't even be talking about it. But this is this is the Gynocracy on trial. This is Me Too on trial. This is Believe All Women on trial. And they lost. They lost. 10 years ago, she wouldn't have lost. In 2018, she wouldn't have lost. Pre-pandemic, she wouldn't have lost. But see, this pandemic had a lot to do with it too. Because people had enough time to sit down and think. That's why Kevin Samuel's channel blew up the way it did. Because people had enough time to sit down and question. Now, I ain't got nothing to do. I ain't got no job to go to today. Let me question. Let me actually sit down and listen to what's going on. Oh, wait a minute. This is not what it seems to be. It's a lot of stuff that I thought was just, I took it as a matter of course and didn't question it. But you know what? Maybe I should question it. See, men knew that they were getting the short end of the stick, but in typical man fashion, men be trying to just muscle through it. Don't. I'm so glad Johnny didn't muscle through it. He tried. He tried. Johnny was being a man about it. Johnny was being a typical man about it. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to try to get away from it. She out of my hair. I paid her little measly $7 million for the divorce. Boom. But no, she wouldn't let it go. She kept smearing his name for no reason. And I know he had to be sitting there like I was a whole victim. Now you gonna make me out to be the villain? And I can tell you, having been a victim of abuse, to see your abuser parade around and be liked by people, and then they lie on you about this, that, and the third, play you off to the left like you're overreacting, like you're doing something wrong. That's the most maddening thing in the whole world. You be just ready to Bart Simpson choke. Like, I know you're not painting me with this brush. This is a chick that left fecal matter in that man's bed. But let me go back to her tweet. I'm not gonna share the screen. I'm just gonna read it. The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. So right here, she's trying to do that whole, this is the patriarchy still type situation. We still under the oppression of the patriarchy, and they protecting him because he a man. Which is complete foolishness. Because this is not a patriarchy no more. This is a gynocracy. And they know that. But they keep playing off of the foolishness. It's not even flying at this point. She goes on to say, I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It is a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated. Ain't nobody publicly shaming and humiliated you, baby girl. You could have kept your mouth shut. The only thing that happened here was you were trying to, under the umbrella of the gynocracy, under the freedom of the gynocracy, under the emboldenment. See, she was emboldened by the gynocracy. Thank you, Eric. Said a smear campaign is hard to deal with. No one believes you because the abuser has been smearing you from day one. Evil. Exactly. See, she felt emboldened to write that op-ed because of the gynocracy. It was never supposed to be questioned. She wrote the op-ed. I'm going to tell you why she wrote the op-ed under the gynocracy. I can just smear a man. I can just destroy a man. There's a book on the market right now, How to Destroy Men. How to Destroy Men. You don't believe me? Let me look at this. Let me look at this. I'm gonna find it. Here's one. This isn't even the one I was looking at before. This is a different one. This is a different one. I didn't know it was more than one. Listen, look at this. Look it. Look it. How to Destroy a Man in One Easy Step. Men guilty until proven innocent. These are books on the market. Okay? These are books on the market. Because we live in a gynocracy, allow books like that to just sit there and nobody say nothing. There'd be the uproar if a man had written a book on how to destroy women. The gynocracy emboldened women to be able to go on smear campaigns and ruin a man's life for no reason at all, other than the fact that she feels like it and it's Tuesday. And Amber wrote that op-ed under that auspice. I can get away with it. I can get away with it because he's a man and I'm a woman. She knew what she was doing on that audio. She was like, who gonna believe you, Johnny? You a man. So you gonna go somewhere and tell somebody that you as a man got beat up by me? Right. Right. That's what she did. She wrote the op-ed because of the gynocracy, not because she was speaking out against the patriarchy that was holding her back. No. She wrote the op-ed because I can just ruin a man. And nobody's gonna bat an eyelash. After all, he's just a low down, dirty man. And all I got to say is he was abusive and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And people won't question it. And for years, they didn't question it. They didn't. They didn't question it. Disney didn't question it when they dropped him from Pirates of the Caribbean. Hollywood didn't question it when they stopped calling Johnny Depp. That man been acting about 40 years. Why would you stop calling Johnny Depp? He an A-lister. Why would you stop? Because of her. They did believe it. It was Johnny that had to come out and like, no, y'all not gonna make me the villain. I got my kids to think about. They share my last name. They Depps. So they gotta run around, oh, your daddy was a woman beater. Like, no, and I'm not. So they not gonna be able to live their life in peace because you lying on me. No. But this is what the gynocracy do. Going back to her little stupid tweet. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. Or did it put forth the idea that violence against men should be taken seriously? That's what really happened. This case set forth the concept in the atmosphere that violence against men takes place and we take it seriously. It's not the butt of a joke anymore. It's not the butt of a joke anymore. See, Will Smith getting up to slap Chris Rock. Yeah, some people laughed at it, but more people were appalled at it. So you just gonna perpetrate violence? See, it didn't matter that Chris Rock was another man. So you just gonna perpetrate violence on somebody? He ain't do nothing. He didn't even do nothing. So you just gonna hit? Oh, that's weird. You weird. She weird. Amber Heard weird. Okay? Knox are weird. She knew she could get away with it. She just knew she could get away with it. Got him for the $7 million. Tried to do a countersuit for $100 million real quick. Just ruin that man's life. Just keep going back, knocking him upside the head. And it was acceptable under the gynocracy. It's acceptable. But there's a change on the wind now. And these hyenas better start waking up, because folks is going to start, no, because you could be getting Johnny Depp out here as a man. And now we understand that it can happen. Man, whole finger got cut off. Nah, these men out here getting skibbity papped. It's not funny either. It's not funny either. It's not a woman going, you better stop, boy. No. These are serious assaults. And a woman can perpetrate it on a man. See, what got asserted was that men can be victims and the women can be the aggressor and the abuser in a situation. So maybe we should believe all men. And maybe we should, because I don't think there's a whole lot of men that would come out and lie like a whole lot of women would about being skibbity pap, because men don't want their masculinity challenged. So it took this man putting his whole life on Front Street to talk about drug addictions, to get pictures plastered up when he knocked out with ice cream in his hand, embarrassing stuff. She run around here taking photos of all of his embarrassing moments, little candid moments that nobody was supposed to see. Thank you, Jehovah. So I would love to see you and TLA build on this. I wouldn't mind building with TLA on this. I wouldn't mind that. She goes on to say, I believe Johnny's attorney succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignore evidence that was so conclusive we won in the UK. To overlook the key issue. Your freedom of speech wasn't on trial, beloved. Oh, for those of you who might have got buffered real quick, hit refresh for me and come back and it should be okay, because we're going to start wrapping this up. Thank you, Covey. It's a prime example of when you let someone in your heart as a man, this results in pimps, players, and F-19s. So I'm glad that Johnny won, but I'm gladder still that men won. Men won. This is a win for men against the gynocracy, and it happened in a court of law. And I need people to understand that it happened in a court of law, not a court of public opinion, not social media court of law. That's the environment that is now going to shift the culture, because we're talking about biology in a different way. Instead of talking about how men are always beating on women, let's talk about how the women are always beating on the men. Let's talk about domestic violence, what they call it, domestic partner violence. And the jury still tried to have a little bit of gynocratic sympathy. He accountable, but she can't be accountable by herself. He accountable too for a little bit. He did a little bit. See, she couldn't just be 100% accountable. Yeah, pay the $50 million because you a liar. No. We give you a little bit. You are a still woman in a gynocracy, though. So we gonna try. He accountable too. So he gotta pay you $2 million, and we not gonna award him the actual $50 million. It's just gonna be 15, and he gotta pay you $2. That, but that's gonna go away. Thank you, Dr. Michelle. Intimate partner violence. That's going to go away. All of that, is she a woman too? We got to see people getting fed up. The pandemic allowed people to sit down for a second and digest a lot of media and information. And sometimes that works against the status quo. Because people start to see how the gynocracy actually works. It's not pretty. So what else is not pretty is Black Lives Matter and what they do with their money. So I want to thank everyone so much. We are over 2,100 signatures, and I'm super, super excited about that. And I want to thank every single person that signed the petition, that shared the petition, that contributed anything so that the petition can be seen. Thank you so, 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 so much. So I definitely want to hit 2,500 as soon as possible so we can really get some legs underneath this thing and hold Black Lives Matter accountable for the gross misappropriation of funds. So I would love for one of my mods to put the link to the petition in the chat. It's also in the description box as well, okay? And I want to give a shout out to Johnny Depp's legal team that came with their A game. So A game. They were on their A game. If y'all did not watch that trial, y'all need to watch that trial. His legal team was with it. Okay? They were on their A game. But A game isn't just for the legal team. A game is for all men. Okay? Because it addresses men's vitality, their energy, their strength, and their libido by addressing their blood flow in their bodies, right? This addresses a man's overall health, which is so important, especially now since we got all of this pandemic and illness and flus and all of this stuff going on. So definitely we're looking out for men's health, and how you become part of the A Game family is you click the link at the top of the chat, agameherbal.com, and please do not forget your discount by using the code Kendra10 at checkout, okay? And I want to thank everyone for their contributions through Super Chat, through Cash App, through PayPal, and a warm thank you to my support team, without which I would not be able to give you this wonderful content. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.